The Bronx's New York Botanical Garden kicked off their winter lecture series featuring award-winning architect Michael Van Valkenburg, most recently celebrated for his design of Brooklyn Bridge Park that opened last year.
I think that just generally the idea of ecology is one that's more interested in change rather than being interested in the conditions of climax, the sort of slowed down conditions.
Brooklyn Bridge Park is just one of many public spaces Valkenburg has worked on. Another is Teardrop Park, located in Battery Park City. Valkenburg shared his approach in taking on projects that begin with a careful study of the ecology of the land to see that any design fits within this framework.
Since moving to New York, I love complicated landscapes, and it was probably coming, but I just don't think New York needs a ton more trees in straight lines, or I don't need them. So you can see that I'm taking the idea of a gridded system, which makes sense for the site we were given, and looking at strategies for eroding it and pulling it apart so that from the inside, the on-the-ground experience of it is much more irregular. And part of this is because this is meant to be a place of assembly. This is a place where big parties or lunchtime gatherings of several thousand people would happen sometimes.
Guests were joined by staffers from the New York Botanical Gardens in appreciating an up-close discussion from an architect so involved in the reshaping of public spaces in New York City.
I love his style because he's so accessible, and it really did feel like a trip through his mind. So I really enjoyed it.
Michael Van Valkenburg is one of the most highly regarded landscape architects that there is out there in the universe right now. So it was really wonderful to have him here at the Botanical Garden.
I think we had an insight into what made the boy into the man who became the landscape architect, and he's a very great one.
The garden has tapped a few other speakers to round out their winter lecture series. Colston Burrell, a garden designer who specializes in native plants, is coming, as well as Amy Novak, a woman making headlines for opening up a green garden on a rooftop in Brooklyn. For Bronxnet, this is Arlene Makoko.